Hello, my name is Ashley, and this is my first journal video here on YouTube. I wanted to start by sharing one of my favorite journal setups for 2026, which is my D&D fantasy-themed reading journal. Now, I'm using an Archer and Olive A5 dot grid journal in their Moonlit Garden style, I think, which I pre-ordered a few months ago. I don't think this style is currently available, but I know that they do reprints from time to time, so it might come back. I decided to call my reading journal a story journal this year because I have a couple spots where I'm also tracking films and TV series I'm watching, but it's still very heavily book-focused. I made a pocket here to put book or TV show covers or any other printouts for my journal that I'm not quite ready to use. I cut up and glued that first wonky page to the journal and put some scrapbook paper over the top. As I mentioned, my theme is high fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, and I was really inspired by Amanda Maid's cohesive ideas that she used for her pirate-themed reading journal. So I tried to get creative with the names of my spreads as well. This is the Queen's Coffers, which is my yearly stats spread. I've got some space here to record both for books and for shows and movies and anything else that I consume this year. Again, a big shout out to Amanda Maid for such cohesive titles for her pirate-themed journals. Very inspiring. This page as well, where she made kind of like a captain's log for her book log and styled it kind of like this, which is what I took inspiration from as well. I have 156 spaces, which I hope will be plenty. This year I read 93 books, which is an all-time high for me, so we'll see what next year brings. These are my gathered treasures, which is where I'll print out books, films, and TV show covers of things that I watch or consume in 2026. This is less of a functional spread and more just me loving looking at everything at a glance. I had a similar page in my 2025 reading journal, but I ran out of space pretty quickly, so I wanted to avoid that this year, so I made a ton of space. This is my shelfie page, which is really just a glorified genre tracker. I drew and colored these bookshelves on separate dot grid paper, then glued them on top of the scrapbook paper that I had already put on those pages. And I also wrote down all the genres I'm most likely to read and color-coded them with their corresponding Tombow marker number, so I wouldn't have to remember the colors months from now. Every time I finish a book, I'll color it in with its genre color and then write the book title on the spine of the book. This is my monthly champions spread, which is where I'll put my favorite book for every month. This can become pretty difficult sometimes, especially like this year in October. I read both Slewfoot and Circe, which became instant all-time favorites for me, so that's usually not a problem, but sometimes. And then here's my jousting tourney page, which is basically a book bracket. And I'll take the favorites from the previous spread and pit them against each other, putting the winner on those tiles, and then the winner from those on these parchment tiles, and then the winner from those three on that tile. And also, just an aside, I really love the idea of someone jousting on a flying duck. That's very fantasy, very D&D to me. These are my ongoing expeditions, or my series trackers. These are the series I really want to focus on in 2026, some of which I've already read a book from this year. And a big series I really want to jump into is the Cosmere series by Brandon Sanderson. Please pray for me. This is my DNF spread, which I'm lovingly calling City of the Dead. I'm not too afraid to DNF books that I feel like aren't worth my limited reading time, so 10 headstones might not be enough, but if that's the case, I'll just make a tip-in or two and add some more. Now I'm getting into the book clubs and challenges that I definitely want to participate in for 2026. The first one being the book club my best friend Erin made called Busy Bee Book Club. We've already picked our first 3 reads of the year: The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas, The Fireman by Joe Hill, and Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. And then Erin also makes monthly prompt challenges outside of our book club reads, which I've made a Dutch door here so that I can track both of those challenges for this book club. Next is the Goober Book Club, hosted by Jess, Monica, and Rachel. I noticed a little too late that the Goober Readathon and Year of Goober are two different challenges entirely, with one of them being solely in May and the other being a year-long challenge. So I have a Dutch door here for the May challenge when that is announced, but I'm just gonna keep the title because I printed it and I'm not gonna redo that. But very cute challenge I am excited to jump into and see what baked goods Goober gets to make this year. This is my yearly reading challenge, which I'm calling Dungeon Dive. I mentioned I hit 93 books this year, which is an all-time high for me. So in 2026, I'm shooting for a minimum of 72. It would be great if I hit that, and if I exceed it, I can always just create a tip-in for some bonus books. Now, why I made this birch tree themed and not like cave themed for a dungeon dive, I don't know. We'll just say that this was the entrance to the dungeon. Maybe it's like disguised in the Feywild to look like the forest? Who knows? Up next is how I'm theming my Read the Rainbow challenge for the year, titled after one of my very favorite level 1 D&D spells, Chromatic Orb. So my green cover will be for acid, my white cover is cold, and my red cover is obviously fire, with purple being poison, yellow lightning, and blue thunder. I had to take some creative licensing with the colors, but I think it works pretty logically. I'll be printing out the book covers and then sticking them right onto those orbs. Here is my book bingo spread, which I'm calling Fortune's Favor. And again, Manda Maid inspired me to try playing bingo as a real game this time instead of seeing each of the squares. I have the numbers all covered up with washi tape that I can easily peel back and then put the book covers printed out as like squares onto the actual bingo board. I think this is so creative, and I'm really excited for the challenge of not knowing if I'm gonna get a bingo or not. And I also had a really fun time coming up with the prompts. Roll to seduce the dragon is exactly what you think. Next up is my A to Z reading challenge, or what I'm calling Wanted Missing Runes. I'll be going on a little quest to find each of the lost letters by reading a book starting with each one and then sticking the cover next to them. Also, isn't this dragon sticker so cute? I bought it a few years ago from UmasWonderland on Etsy and finally found the right moment to use it. I'd like to think that this is the dragon that started the quest. She's like a librarian wanting us to restore her missing collection by finding each of these letters or runes. My final reading challenge spread for 2026 is based off the Read Around the World challenge a lot of people do. I tried to think how best to do this since I read a lot of books that feature real-world settings as well as fantasy settings. So instead of coloring in a bunch of map spaces that would be squished in this A5 size journal, I instead printed out a map that I bought from Jashi Corin, which she hand drew and is adorable. And then down below is where I'll be writing down each location I visit, with the left being real locations and the right being fantasy locations. And then I'm also going to put tally marks by each one if I go there multiple times. These will be like little logbooks of my travels around Earth and the realms beyond. With all my yearly spreads made, I next made my reading tracker for the month of January. I like to base my monthly reading trackers off the same theme that I use that month in my daily bullet journal. So for January, I've got this Arctic tundra icy layout in both my bullet journal and my reading journal. And then I've left space below the calendar here to write down the books that I read with a color corresponding to each one. I then use that color to show the days I read that book in the month. And that's it for my 2026 reading journal setup. I had so much fun making this, and I'm very excited to use it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a very happy new year.